Again, welcome. So I'll be talking about the 8 tips for starting your event planning business. And just to introduce myself for those who are not familiar with me, I'm Jodi-ann. I'm Jodi-ann Rowe, owner of eventcertificate.com. And we're an online event planning resource website, particularly for new and aspiring event planners, as well as for established event planners. So I'll just give you a brief introduction to myself and go into my story. So before I go through my timeline, I'll give you a little bit about my educational background. I do have an undergraduate degree in economics. I went into the program because I enjoyed studying econ and I wanted to learn everything I thought I knew, and I really wanted to work in that field. But after completing my degree, I must say that it was not exactly what I wanted to do. I didn't have the passion for it. So I eventually ventured into event planning. So you'll see in 2003 is when I first ventured into event planning officially. Before that, I'd always been planning events for my friends and family. Of course, this is always free of charge. But until then, it wasn't until 2003 that I really got started going into the business and doing it for more pay, more money. And then in 2007 was when I secured my first event planning job. And this is a job within a company planning their events. So I was now officially getting paid for someone to plan events all the time. However, after working in that position for a couple of years, for it to be exact, I really found that it wasn't exactly what I wanted to do, in that I really wanted an opportunity to grow more and increase my income. And being in a salaried position within a company wasn't allowing me to do that as an event planner, particularly because I wasn't at an event planning company. I was an event planner working within a different industry. So there isn't a lot of opportunity for growth within that position. So what I decided to do is I decided to start my event planning business. And I did this in 2011. And instead of leaving my job and going to event planning full time as a business, I decided to start it on the side just to ensure that it was viable and that I could obtain a few clients before I left my salaried position. So I launched it in 2011, and the photo you see on the screen, that's with me and one of the Iron Chef. This is an event in San Francisco that I coordinated. And when I launched my event planning business in 2011, it was a little bit difficult because I had to learn everything but differently, right? So in my salary position, the clients are there, right? The clients come to us, we plan the events based on the company's direction. In my own business, I really had to learn how to go out and find those clients on my own, how to market my business, everything that I didn't have to do in my salary in-house position. So it was a lot of learning, but it was also growth opportunities, right? I learned, I made mistakes, but I was able to grow from those. The business really took off. Like, I did a lot of volunteer work, and eventually I started to book a few clients. And in my side business, I really worked mostly with corporate clients. That was my preference. I do still plan a few weddings and other events, but my preference is for corporate events. And that just includes conferences, workshops. I do also book launches, but anything that's more geared toward a professional crowd. Now, in 2013, I was, let's just say, at the height of my business and my career, in that I'd finally figured out how to make my side business work. At that time, my business on the side was bringing in more money than I was making in my salaried position, and I was doing both. So I was not getting a lot of sleep, as you can imagine, as I was working a full-time job and I was doing my business on the side. So every hour out that I was not sleeping was in some way working. But in 2013, what I realized was I was getting asked by a lot of people who had seen how my business was growing or see what I was doing, kind of like, how did you get started? Or what are you doing? Or how are you making money? So what I decided to do was I actually went back to my alma mater and I started mentoring and teaching some of the new event planners that were coming out of their continuing education program. Because these were the questions they were asking. They were looking to launch their business and they didn't know exactly how to do it. So I explained to them my path and how I got here. And then after doing all of this above for over about a year, I realized that I really needed to put all this information and all that I was getting into a package or into a program that other people could access. Because if these students had this question, it also means that other students would as well. So in 2014, after doing much research, I decided to launch eventcertificate.com, which is where we are today. And I launched Event Certificate mainly as a blog. So I just started blogging and sharing some information, common questions that I've received over the years. And from there, I decided to work more one-on-one with new event planners or existing event planners. And then I decided to create a course that really just packaged a lot of the knowledge that I had to share with everyone else who really needed the information. And I launched my course in 2015. And this was one of the first courses that I launched, and it's called Learn How to Be a Successful Event Planner. And that course did really well. In the first year, we had over 500 students in the class, and each year after that, it's done pretty well. So that's why I'm here today, because I thought I would do the webinar just to share my knowledge with you as well. And as I said before at the beginning of the lecture, that if you have any questions, you can just write them down or just type them in the chat box and I'll address them at the end. Now, of course, during my journey, as I said earlier, I've had the pleasure to work on multiple types of events, right? I've worked on, and you see in the top left of my screen, that's Michael Ignatieff. He's a Canadian politician. So I've worked with corporate clients, political clients. I do conferences. I do weddings as well. However, I tend to do weddings for clients who I'm already working with. So I might be working with a corporate client and someone in their family is getting married and they ask me, and I'll do that. But I don't market myself as a wedding planner because this is not the type of events that I like to focus on. But I do coordinate weddings. I also do a number of fundraising or gala events for nonprofit organizations throughout the year. And this includes hospitals and other nonprofits. And I've just shared a couple photos from a couple of my events on the screen for you. But what does all of that mean, right? Essentially, what I'd like you to know is that I understand exactly where you are because I was also in that position. Right? When I started, I was new to event planning and I was planning events for free or for little to no money. Some of the events I planned, I would plan them and I would even pay for the supplies. However, that you don't have to be in that position forever. As you learn and grow, you will get to where I am now, where right now I work mainly with corporate clients. I do consult in-house with different companies as well, and I teach event planning. Now, I want to take you step by step through the 8 tips that I think every person looking to start an event planning business should do. And the first one, or the first tip, is that you have to research your market and find who your ideal clients are. And not everyone tends to do this. Particularly, I find in event planning, because event planning sometimes is a field that people will happen into accidentally. So not everyone would have an opportunity to really look at it as a business and start by doing a bit of research. But if you're where you are right now and you're watching this webcast, then you're looking to start your business and chances are you haven't already launched. So the first step that I suggest is to research your market. And I'll explain why this is important. When you research your market, it gives you an opportunity to get inside the mind of who you'll be selling to, right? Because you want to sell people exactly what they want to buy. And how I often explain this is if I live in a small town where the birth rate is low, the divorce rate is low, and chances are there's not a lot of people getting married, then being a wedding planner who's just focused in that area or in that town is probably not going to be my best market. However, if I find that people tend to have a lot of celebration events in that town, so they're celebrating birthdays and retirements and everything like that, then maybe the best way to position my service is as an event planner or a celebrity or celebratory event planner, right? Because then you'll have more clients and more access to those clients because of what you're marketing. But the only way to find that out is to do the research. So who should do market research? Well, everyone. Everyone should be conducting a market research before they start a business. And that's whether you're a big business, a small business, old business, new business, online, brick and mortar, it doesn't matter. You really need to research your market before you launch. And there's so many places where you can get the market research done. I think sometimes people think of market research and they think of these large firms that conducts research and that's what they need to do. But no, guys, you can do all of this online. And if you're watching this webinar right now, it means that you have access to the internet and a device to which you can watch it. So you also have access to the resources available online. So just go online, do that search, go through the resources that are available, and use that information to inform your business decisions. The next thing you can do, and this is a bit old school, but you can go to the library. Like, libraries are there. You can still use them, access the information. Or you can go to your local government offices. So your Chamber of Commerce or other offices such as that would house these information, that gives you information on maybe demographics in your area. So the general age of the people living in your city, their income levels. Those are good information to have if you're thinking about marketing your service to a particular audience. But most importantly, what I've done is I've given you resources that you can use to do this as well. So if you go to my website, that's www.eventcertificate.com, I do have a free market research worksheet that you can download, and it walks you step by step through all the process that you need to do or all the questions you need to ask yourself to get to what your target market looks like, and the best way to position your company. And one of the most important things that this worksheet allows you to achieve is that you can determine if your idea is viable. So in the example that I gave with the small town, if I wanted to be a wedding planner in that small town, after completing this worksheet at the end, there are 3 set of questions that I have that it would tell you right away if this was the market to do that, or if you needed to reevaluate and adjust your branding and how you plan to position your company. So market research is really important. And this leads me into your target clients, in that when you complete market research for your company, what this allows you to do is to discover who your target clients are. So who are those clients that you need to be focusing on, who will be taking money out of their wallets and out of their purses to pay you for your service. And before you can work out, what event planning clients you need to work with, you really do have to know where they're located, who they are, first of all, where they're located, and how to find them. And there are numerous ways in which you can find target clients. So once you've done your market research, you'll have a clear idea of what your brand and positioning is and what kind of service you'll be offering. And from that, you can usually determine who you need to target. So one of the things that I often tell my clients that they need to look at is where to find your clients. So if I'm looking to target or position my brand within the fitness industry, and I'm a yoga instructor, let's say, so I know that my target client particularly in January, are probably all looking to start new yoga classes or fitness classes. So then I need to be in those spaces or in that area with them. And this can be offline. So I could be going to the local gym if they don't have a yoga class to maybe advertise my service or put up a notice about my service, because then they might see that a yoga class is close by that they can attend. Or it could be online. So maybe they're searching where to find yoga classes. So then you need to have your business listed in different places, such as on Google listings or on any directories that relates to yoga classes. And most importantly, you need to think about where your clients hang out online. So if you know that there is a yoga forum that a lot of yoga enthusiasts are usually going to be on, then go to those forums. But the important part of that is when you go to those forums, you need to not just go in and sit and read their comments and just post information about your business. You need to engage with them. So if someone posts a question about a particular style of doing yoga, then respond to them. Share your knowledge. Be in their eyes an expert on your topic, and then you can explain to them your expertise and what you bring and your business, right? But don't just immediately throw out your information. Don't just blast it. Now, the next step, and this is a very important one as well, actually they all are, is that you have to create a business plan. You have to outline exactly how you plan to create your business or what you would like to see for the future of your business. And a business plan allows you to accomplish just that. Now, I want you to think of it this way. A business plan, if you're currently thinking about starting the business, you're not sure where to start, you're not sure what resources to access, right? A business plan allows you to map out your plan of action for starting and operating your business. And what this does is that it creates an outline. It gives you the exact plan of what your future vision will be. And it also helps you determine your financial starting point and puts you in a better position to manage your company and to launch your business. So you'll see my photo on the right. She is managing her company and multitasking. Now, there are many programs out there that can help you to write a business plan. You don't have to feel like you're doing this on your own. And I've listed two of them that I highly, highly recommend using. And the reason why I give you two is because everyone have different learning styles and different ways in which they engage their minds. So I want you to always, when you're comparing any programs that you're using, to always look for two options and just look at the ones that work best for you before making a final decision. So the first one I've listed is futurepreneur.ca. They have a free online business writing program. And Futurepreneur is a Canadian company. And what they do is they're a nonprofit that offer a free service for helping youths launch their business online. However, their business plan writer is completely free for anyone to use. And I've given you a little screenshot of it. Their business plan writer is divided in sections. So you'll see you have the executive summary, the company profile, market research. But the great thing about it is, as you're writing your business plan, the program will pop up these little information bites, these info bites with tips that you need, as well as in each section, it will give you a sample business plan that someone else wrote. So if you're writing your executive summary, it will pop up a little tip, and you'll see it says here on the screen, do you need a little help? And then it will show you a sample executive summary from someone else's business plan, which I think is an amazing feature, because sometimes as you're writing, when you get stuck, you don't necessarily need to copy someone else's information, but just seeing something else written that you're trying to write can help your brain kind of get moving along, right? Get your creative juices flowing. The second one that I highly recommend is onloop.com. And OnLoop has a very intuitive program. And the great thing about their business plan that I like is that it has a score. So if you see at the top right of the screen on Loop, it says 551. So as you're writing, it scores your business plan, which allows you to see the areas in which that your business plan needs to be edited or needs a bit of work, and you can go back and update that as you need, as needed. Right? So this is a perfect tool if that's the way you work, but it's very intuitive and I do like it. Now, a Futurepreneur was the one that I used when I was writing my business plan, right? So that was one of the reasons I included it, because I personally used it and I really enjoyed using it. On Loop.com, however, I did not use for my business plan, but it's a program I've been through and I really enjoyed. Now, within your business plan writing, with a name for your business. You'll notice I intentionally did not put this first or within the business plan area, right? Because for this reason, I find sometimes as business owners or just as entrepreneurs, when you're just getting started, sometimes you can get stuck trying to come up with an idea or something for your business. And what I've discovered from working with my students is that naming their business is one of those roadblocks. Sometimes I've given them the task of doing that, and it has taken weeks for them to name their business. So what I've done is I usually remove that obstacle now. So I'll say, write your business plan, even if you don't have a name for your company. In your business plan writer, where it asks for the name of your business, just put your own name. So instead of getting stuck and hung up, this allows you to write the plan and then gives you a bit of time to be creative and really think about your business name before you move on. But the key is to not get stuck on this before you get that business plan done, because the business plan is actually the most important part. And if you go to my website again, www.eventcertificate.com, I do have a free worksheet that helps you to come up with a name for your business by asking you just specific questions about your passion, your skills, and tries to find where those two meet, or words that really generate with you, or words that you enjoy saying or just sounds good. And it helps you to come up with a name for your business that is suitable to you. So if you have a moment, go on over, just go in the search bar and type name in your business and you'll find the worksheet. The next step that I wanted to bring your attention to is registering your business. And this is probably one of the easier ones depending on which country you live in. And registering your business, what this does is essentially makes your business legit, right? Now you are official, you have a registered business name, you have a business number, and your company can operate as a business. So I really encourage my students in the early stages to register their business, because this helps you to solidify that business idea, make you feel more official, and it really helps you to move along to getting your business started. But what does the process of registering your business really look like? And this will be different depending on what country you're in, what state or province or what city. But the three key things that you need to do, or the three key things that's probably common amongst all, are these. The first is that you need to do a bit of research. So before you register your business, you'll need to search for the business requirements in your area. So just go on Google, visit your local government office for registering a business, and just find out what all the requirements are for registering your business, so that you can gather and prepare all the documents and information you'll need to submit that application. The second thing you need to do is to determine or decide on your business structure. And one of the main reasons that when you're submitting a registration application, one of the things it asks you to do is to identify the type of legal entity under which you'll be operating. So you'll need to do a bit of research to determine that, because you might be starting your event planning business by yourself. However, there are many people who might be starting with their event planning business with a partner. So they might be starting with two people. It really depends. And you need to just do some research to figure out which one is the best one for you, what works best for your business structure, and which one you're going to go with. But this you need to do before you actually start the process of registering. And of course, the third step is to get your business registered. And once you've identified, your business name and you've gathered all the documents required to submit the application, you can go ahead and officially register your business. And as I said earlier, the process will be different depending on where you are, but you can usually find this information online from many cities, or if not, you can visit your local offices. And step 4 is that you will need to set up your business structures. And I link these all together instead of spacing them out, because I think they are very important and they all need to be done at the same time. And setting up your business structures just includes getting everything ready, such as your legal documents, your bank accounts, everything that your business will need to function. And one of the first things I usually tell my students is getting a bank account for your business is really important, particularly if you would like to track how your business is doing. It's important that you keep your business bank account and your personal finances separate. However, that being said, if you are really efficient or really organized and you know how to separate those finances within the same account, then go ahead and do that. But if you're not and you want to see a full picture just by opening up one bank account off your business, I do suggest opening a separate bank account just for your business. And once your business is registered, you are able to set up a business bank account in your name or in the name of your business. The next structure that I find the most important is consulting with a lawyer. And when I tell event planners this, they're often a little baffled by why they need to speak to a lawyer. But I'll explain. When I say that you need to contact a lawyer, I don't mean you need to have a lawyer hired at all times, but I highly recommend, depending on your city and what type of clients you're working with, that you really sit down and speak to a legal professional and explain to them what you're planning to do, the type of business you're operating, and get their advice. Because a lawyer is able to explain to you a lot of the risks that might come with working in a particular industry or with certain clients that would never occur to you, right? Because you don't have a legal background. The next important things for event planners is that lawyers can also look at your contract. And there are many free contracts that you can find online, multiples. And if you go to my 2-week event business challenge, I actually list within the challenge a lot of free templates that you can find online. However, these templates they're more or less standard, right? They're standardized templates that cover all the basics. They do not look at who you are, the city you're in, what policies or laws are in your particular area, and how these might impact your clients and your working relationships. So this is where a lawyer is helpful. And the thing that you do have to keep in mind is that if you get a lawyer to look at and help you come up with a custom contract for your event planning business, this is just done once. It doesn't have to be done for all clients. They can help you come up with a standard contract template just for you, and you can keep reusing that contract with other clients, right? Now, if you're not able to afford a lawyer, I'm sure depending on where you are, there are many, many services offered by local nonprofits that gives you legal advice without asking for any payment. So look into those options if your city has them. and do take advantage of those as well. The next thing you want to do is you need to speak to an accountant. And I know you haven't launched your businesses yet and you're not making any money as yet, but accountants really can offer you advice that ensures that your business operation gets started without any glitches. No glitches, no hitches. And what this does is it puts you in a position that at the end of your financial year, you do not have any surprises. Now, of course, there are also many online accounting softwares that you can find that can help you to keep track of your expenses, your revenues, your receipts. And in my 2-week business challenge, I've listed a lot of these, right, that you can access. But it's good to speak to an accountant because they will also tell you what items maybe you can write off at the end of the year. So what receipts you should hold on to. Maybe, if you go across the street and meet with a client for coffee, you can actually use that receipt and claim it as a business expense, everything like that. But you won't know that unless you speak to a professional. So it's important just to touch base with them to get some basic information. So those are the 3 structures that highly recommend that you put into place when you're launching your business. And number 5, and this is the one that tends to be a little bit more interesting for everyone, is establishing your event planning fee structure. So how are you going to get that money in the bank? And you'll see my photo here. He's trying to get that money in his bank. And there are multiple ways that you can charge for your event planning fees and how you can charge your clients. And I'll go through the 3 most common ones, as well as explain some of their advantages and disadvantages. So the first one is hourly. And this is where you charge an hourly rate for the total amount of time that you spend planning an event. So whether that be $25 an hour, $50 an hour, $100 an hour. And depending on where you're located, this fee will vary, right? I'm in the city of Toronto, and the average event planner in Toronto charges anywhere between $50 to $150 per hour. The third is flat fee. And this is where you will charge your clients one-time fee. It's usually predetermined, so they know exactly what it is right out the gate, right? So you decide on a cost, you let them know, it will cost me $1,000 to plan your event. The third is percentage. And this is where you'll charge a percentage of the total cost of hosting the event. And depending on where you are, again, depending on your city, it's usually between 20 to 25%, or depending on the type of event. Percentage is the charge that I use, mainly with my corporate clients at the moment. And I'll go through the pros and cons of these. So for hourly rates, hourly is really, really good. It is amazing to use when you're just starting out. And the reason for this is, as a new event planner, you won't know exactly how long an event will take you. So if you're new to event planning and you've never worked one-on-one with a client to plan a wedding, for example, you might not be completely aware of how long it will take. So doing an hourly rate is a bit easier. So you just give them your rate and you'll start billing and tracking your hours and billing your client accordingly. Now, the disadvantage of hourly billing is that the cost is usually ambiguous. That means it's not clear to the client up front what it will cost them by the end of the event for your services. So for that reason, clients are sometimes, this is not an easier option for them to choose. And the second, and this is the most important one, or the reason why I don't recommend hourly for planners who are already in the industry, is that hourly rate encourages your customers to negotiate based on price rather than on value. And what I mean by this is, if you tell a client that you charge $50 an hour to plan their wedding, and that client only makes $15 an hour in their own job, they will immediately try to put these two together. So they will immediately try to compare what you're charging versus what they're making. And then they will try to negotiate the price of your services just because it will seem high in comparison to their cost, right? It will seem high in comparison to what they're getting paid. So they're no longer focusing on the value of your service, only on the price. And this does create a disadvantage because you'll find you spend a lot of time haggling with customers, or they're trying to get discounts and you're negotiating prices. And this is one of the disadvantages of using an hourly rate. The next is flat fee pricing. And the advantages of using flat fee pricing, I really, really enjoy this one. I say really, really because I do encourage my students, once they're established, to get to the flat fee pricing. Flat fee pricing, it's very transparent. Your clients know right up front the total cost for planning their event. There are no surprises, there are no changes, nothing. They know the cost and they agree to it the moment they sign your contract. So the advantage of that is that it really places a focus on value rather than on price. So your customers already know the price. There's nothing to haggle about. They're completely agreed. So instead, they tend to focus on the value that you can bring to their event. So are you able to collect all the RSVPs to their event? Do they not have to look at seating arrangements because you'll do all of that, right? All the value of your services become the focus of the conversation rather than the price. Now, the disadvantage of flat fee pricing is that if you're not sure, or if you don't know exactly how long the event is going to take you to plan, or if the event turns out to be more difficult and time consuming than you expected, this will work to your disadvantage. And I'll give you an example. Now, I won't use real numbers in this example, but when I first started my business on the side, I was extremely eager to get clients. And the fact that anyone would now pay me outside of my job per event was just mind blowing. However, at the same time, I was scared that I would scare clients off if I gave them a rate that was too high. So I'll give you an example with one event where I was contacted by a corporate client who wanted to put on a fundraising gala. The gala had over 400 people, and I gave them a flat fee pricing just so they would know what it was and there would be no discussions on price. And we'll say I told them $1,000. Now, this event, I never planned a 400-person gala before, and it took me way longer than I expected, right? I didn't account for the amount of time that I was going to be spending trying to contact some of their sponsors to get items for the event. And this ate a whole chunk of the amount of hours that I could have dedicated to other tasks. Because of this, at the end of the event, when I calculated my hourly rate, I ended up making about $10 or less, which, believe it or not, is below the minimum wage in my city, right? So I end up losing out on that event. This is why I only recommend flat fee pricing after you've started planning an event and you kind of have a better idea of how long it takes and the kind of obstacles that would be in your way as you go through the process. The third option is percentage pricing. And this is a favorite of mine because I work with corporate clients. And the advantage of this is percentage pricing allows your profit to grow with the demands of the event. So if the client is requesting additional tasks or additional items, and this is increasing the overall cost of the project, what this does, it also increases the amount of money that you get to take home from that, which is fair, right? Because if you're increasing the amount of items and the amount of tasks that's required, then your time needs to be compensated for accordingly. The disadvantage of this, however, is that when clients know that you're charging based on a percentage, they may try to compromise on quality in an effort to save on cost. So I'll give you an example. If a client knows that if they use a venue that costs $5,000 versus one that costs $1,000, you're getting a percentage. To save on that cost, they might go with the $1,000 rental fee at that venue, just so that you don't increase their cost with your fee, even if this venue might not be the best one for their event. It is for this reason that I tend to use percentage pricing with corporate clients, right? Percentage pricing, you really do have to know your clients. And if you're working with brides, depending on who they are or how high end these clients are, they may compromise on the quality. Where I know with corporate clients, if they compromise on the quality of the event, then they're compromising on the quality of what they're providing to their customers. Because when I host, for example, a branding launch or event for a corporate client, they're looking to position their brand in a certain way to the public and to their customers. So the opportunity or the idea that they would compromise on quality would not be beneficial to them. That would actually cost them, because then their customers or clients would see the compromise in the event, right? It would look like a lower quality, low budget event. And that's not the image that they usually want associated with their brand. Now, of course, there are multiple different options that you can use within pricing models, and these are the three main ones. There are also additional items that you can use, such as getting commissions on vendors. So that's where if a client is renting furniture for an event and you are the one contracted to rent with the vendor, you could charge a markup on the rentals to the client, and that markup amount would come to you. But these are not pricing models, and that's why I haven't listed them, but they're rather additional revenue streams. And I won't go into much detail about them because, one, they're a little bit more advanced in terms of strategies, and I find you do have to start working in the industry before you start adding some of those. And you also need to be transparent to your client if you're doing that. So if you're doing a markup from your vendors and getting a commission, you need to be transparent to your client so that they don't feel like you're cheating them or trying to get additional money from them, right? So that's the reason I haven't listed those. But again, if you have any questions about those, please just wait until the end of the event and throw them out there. I'm happy to answer them for you. And step number 6, this is how you gain experience, and that is to volunteer. When I started my business, I had already had experience just from working in a company. However, because I work with a company that has a brand attached to them, I could tell the client this to let them know a bit about my background, but I couldn't use this to market my business because there was a conflict of interest. So because of that, I really need to volunteer to get experience with clients that I could then use in my portfolio in a different way to market my company. And volunteering is an amazing way to do that. Now, I'll outline for you what I like to call the 3 S of volunteering. And the first one is to be strategic. When you're looking for volunteer opportunities to gain event planning experience, you really do need to choose organizations that reflects your passion. Because if you don't, then you might not bring your best expectations or at least your best qualifications and skills to the position, right? And you need to do that because while it's a volunteer position and you're not getting paid, you still do need to impress them, one, to be able to use their event in your portfolio, and they can be used as a recommendation to future clients, right? You also need to look to see if there's an opportunity to grow within that organization. So you might not be passionate about what the mandate is for that organization, but if there's an opportunity that you see that would be to your advantage, then by all means, go ahead and do that volunteer position. The second S is being selective. You need to look for positions that can enhance your skills, not only just volunteer to provide your service. And I'll give you an example with myself. When I was looking for volunteer positions when I was starting my business on the side, I specifically was looking for event positions, but I didn't want to be a volunteer on just any event or working in event services. Because when I looked in my local city, like when I looked at volunteer opportunities online, a lot of what I saw were they were looking for event volunteers to work at events, right? So you could be a volunteer on a 5K run or a cancer drive or anything like that. You could be a volunteer that would be handing out gift bags or registering clients. But given that I'd worked in my corporate position for a number of years, I already knew that, right? What I wanted to do was to enhance my skills planning those sort of events and in quote unquote being hired by those clients. So I specifically looked for volunteer positions where I was on the event planning committee of that event. And that's how I targeted my clients. So dependent on where you are in your business or in your skill set, you might decide to do one or the other. If you've never planned events and you have no experience, then doing event services position where you're registering customers at a volunteer job or handing out gift bags does give you an opportunity to see what the event is like on the ground floor. So don't discount those experiences. However, if you have already planned events and you have a basic idea, at least you know all the concepts required, then I would really encourage you to try to look for more volunteer positions where you have a say and you can determine how the event is coordinated rather than be on the ground floor. And the third is to be salesy. I don't know, but I really want you to sell yourself when you go to these volunteer opportunities. You are probably really good at what you're doing. That's why you're trying to look into event planning, or that's why maybe family members and friends have said to you, you'd be a really good event planner. You need to let them know this, right? When you're looking for volunteer opportunities, let them know how amazing you are, that you've planned events, you've helped plan your sister's wedding. It doesn't matter. Let them know your background. It's okay to toot your own horn. And once you've completed the volunteer positions, put all of these in your portfolio. This will be used for your advertising, right? You need to market yourself. Now, this brings us to step 7. My apologies, guys. I just took a sip of my tea. And step 7 is promoting your event planning business. And once you had all your business structures and your business is registered and you have a good idea of what you're doing, you have some volunteer experience, right? And you have your portfolio that's now starting to build up a bit. You will need to promote your business once it's open. And to do that, I want you to literally become a peacock. And why I say that is I want you to spread your feathers, like shine and show how good you are. But I also need you to be everywhere. So you see when a peacock really opens up their feathers, it's really wide, it's open. I want you to do that with your business. And there are many strategies to really advertise and promote. And you can do that offline as well as you can do online. And I've listed just a couple of major ones here, but the list is extensive of what you can do. So offline, when you're new to event planning and just getting started and you have your business up, I want you to host a launch party. Host a launch party and invite everyone you know and their mothers and their fathers to your event, right? Let them know what you're doing. Let them know what services you can provide and how they can hire you. The next one is word of mouth marketing. And word of mouth marketing is one of the best advertisement that you can get for free. So you need to speak to your friends, speak to your family members, give them your business card, right? Let them know you're here, you're available, here's what you can do. And if they share that with everyone else in their network, This is how word of market really spreads to help you. The third thing you need to do is you need to create partnerships. So if you find that you're not getting a lot of traction in your business, then reach out to local partners. So if there is a florist in your area that you could rely on as a partner, you could speak to them and see if they'd be open to collaborating on a project. Maybe it could be just a referral program, where if they refer brides to you, you give the brides a percentage off or just a bonus item. Or if you refer to them, then the same is true, right? So look for partnerships that could help your business. 4 is you need to pound the pavement. And believe me, guys, do not discount the value of this. You need to get out there. Sometimes it's great to speak to friends and families, but sometimes it's also best to go directly to your clients. For example, if you find that you're looking to work with tech companies within a certain area and you live in a startup environment with a lot of tech companies around you, put together a little package about your business. Put together a brochure on your business, the services you provide, and how they can contact you. And go around to these companies. Ask to speak to the person in charge. Now, you might not get to them, but at least ask and try, because chances are you may get to one person, right? And just go in, drop off your package, leave it with the front desk, leave it with HR, or if you get to the person who owns the business, leave it with them, right? But get out there and push your business. And one of the final ones I'll address is networking. And networking comes in a few different ways. You can network at business events with other business owners. I find while this might not necessarily bring you a lot of clients, it's a great opportunity to learn. Meet other business owners, not necessarily event planners, but other business owners maybe at a local business meetup. And they may talk about the strategies that they use to market their business or how they work with their clients that can give you ideas in your own business. As well, they could also be a source of referrals. The other thing you can do is you can go to trade shows and other events like that. That gives you an opportunity to network with potential customers and other business owners, but on a bigger platform. Now, of course, there are the online methods. And if you're looking to market your business online, there are a few things you need to do. The first is you need to get a website. I will not understand event planners who are out there marketing their businesses and saying, I'm not getting any clients, but they don't have a website. If you're looking for customers online, you need to have a website, something to send them to show them where you are and what you can do, and let them learn a bit more about your company and yourself. You also need to get on social media. If you're working with clients who are of a certain age, guys, they're hanging out on social media. You just need to find out which platforms that are. So whether that's on Facebook, on Pinterest, on Instagram, find out where they are and open those social media accounts. Start a page, get people to like your page, or join Facebook groups, right? Anything to get your business name out there. The next thing you want to do is get your business listed. People won't know to find you if your business is not listed. So whether that's listed on Google Business Listing, if you have a physical location, or targeting more event planning and wedding planning websites such as Wedding Wire or The Knot, get on those websites and list your business. Look on Thumbtack. Then you want to engage with your customers online. So don't just open a social media account. Go into the conversations. See what they're saying. Speak to them. And again, I'll say this. Don't just go in forums and on social media and push out your business information. Don't just say, I'm an event planner in North Carolina. Here's how you can contact me. Speak directly to your customers like you would speak to someone in person. Because if you meet someone in person, you would not necessarily say to a friend, I'm an event planner. I'm Jodi-ann. Here's my business card. Here's how to reach me. You might say to them, what problems are you having planning your wedding? Okay, well, maybe if you're having a problem doing seating arrangement, these are what you can look at doing, or here's what I would recommend. Speak to them like you would speak to a friend. The next one that you can do online, and this is very effective, is paying for advertisement. So if you find that you're not generating a lot of business, then you can look into paid advertisement options. So paid ads on Google, on Facebook, there are numerous opportunities for that. You just have to do a bit of research. And the final step, and final one, is I think one of the most important, is that you have to invest in your learning. So you'll need to enroll in an event planning course or program. And I'll tell you why I say this. When I started event planning, I had never completed an event planning course. My degree, as I said earlier, was in economics. So I started planning events, I was working in the industry, and then I officially got hired by a company, and I was planning events for years, and I had never completed a program. However, I got to the point where I thought I needed to really update my skills and see that what else was out there, because I needed to know what everyone was doing and how the market was changing. So I went ahead and enrolled in an event management program. And guys, I'll tell you this. When I entered the program, I had been planning events for over 7 years at this point. And I walked into that class thinking I knew everything. And I was in for a shocker. Being honest, I can say that I knew about 70 to 80% of the materials in the class. However, the other 30% I knew nothing about. Like, I learned so much in terms of financial stuff, how to plan financially and how to really work with a client on a budget, risk management, and all the strategies that you can use to really minimize or mitigate risk in your events. I learned so much that I didn't know, and it was a little scary because I've been planning events for 7 years and I didn't know some of those stuff. And not because they weren't there, but when you're doing events, you tend to learn based on what you've done in the past, right? So if it's not something you've experienced, you wouldn't have learned it. And that class provided the best opportunity to do that. So I really encourage you to enroll in a program and find something that does that. Because, and I'll tell you why, it allows you to stay ahead of your game. Event planning has really become more established as a professional career. And with that being said, it does mean that it is now more competitive for new event planners, because clients are now looking to have a certain, they want to see experience, they want to see skills, but they also want to see demonstrated knowledge. They want to know that you've been through some course, that you have a certification. They're looking at multiple event and wedding planners at any given time. So you do want to give yourself an edge over your competition. And you can achieve that, as I said earlier, by going ahead and obtaining training and looking into certification programs, but knowing that you have the skills and the knowledge, not one or the other, to really effectively plan an event is crucial. So I really encourage you to look at planning, but look at an event planning course and research what's best for you, what's out there. And I'll share with you one program that is offered through my website, and it's called Event You, and I call this the ultimate guide to successful event planning. And what this program is Event You is an online event planning course specifically for new event planning professionals. So if you're new to event planning, you're not sure how to get started, this is the course for you. And it's delivered through an online program. So you'll have access to the program online, to lectures, to videos, worksheets, and all the templates and tools that I use in my own business. But in addition to that, so in addition to the videos, the lectures, PowerPoints, worksheet, you also get adult homework. And this is one of my proudest features of the program, in that you get something that you can take away, work on it, and you submit it back to me. And the great thing about adult homework is that there is no grade to adult homework, unlike regular homework, right? What this does, it gives you an opportunity to really see how far you are, to see what you've learned, and to get some feedback based on everything that you've done through the program. And you can find more information out about this at www.eventcertificate.com/eventu. I've opened up the details of the program so you can go on and browse at your own time, at your leisure, just to see what's included and everything that you will receive. Most importantly, I want to share just one comment from a student who completed the program. And you can see at the top of the screen, in total, I've had 817 students complete this program. And the great thing about having 817 students complete a program is that I've been able to speak to them to get their feedback. So this year, I reopened and launched the program, and I opened it as a newer program because it's been revamped a bit based on the feedback of the students. One was the adult homework. So previously, our adult homework was done in the form of a case study. And based on the feedback of the students, they wanted to get more opportunities to submit it back to me and see exactly what I would say, but individually. So I am giving everyone now the opportunity to do this. Now, of course, on the new revamped program, I won't put you in the same class as that 817 students because you all are starting in different places. So I'll be opening the course fresh on January 30th. And everyone joining the course then will have an opportunity to really go through the program at their own pace without having to be in the same program with students that have already completed it and who might be at a different stage in their business. But what I wanted to share is a review from one particular student. Her name is Casey Laurie, and I often refer to her as Laurie, and I've gotten to know her really well over the past couple of months. And after completing the course, she sent me a review, and I'll just go ahead and read it for you. It says, I have been doing a series of small events, or events on a small scale for over 10 years. I recently got into doing weddings and realized that I needed to learn as much as I could about wedding event planning, as wedding planning is no small affair. After taking this course, I realized a few things. One, I didn't know what I thought I did. I thought in doing events for a while, I knew all I needed to know. Wrong. I learned so much from this course and how to effectively plan, execute, and review events. With what I didn't know, this course assured me I was doing something right. Positive reinforcement is always a plus and an encouragement. 3, confidence. I wanted to start my own event planning business, and I have been on the fence about it for a while. After taking this course, I feel much more confident, ready, and excited to achieve that dream. And she closes by saying, to anyone thinking about taking this course, do it. You know as well as I do that if you like doing events, there's always something to learn. The more prepared you are, the better prepared and excellent your event will be. The only downside I would say about this course is that I wish it had a part 2. And I really had to thank her for her review on that. Now, what's included in Event New? Well, I'll go through a couple of the items that you get if you join that program. And first is a certificate of completion. Once you've gone through the program, at the end of the program, you get an official certificate that you can share on your LinkedIn profile or you can download and save that shows proof that you've completed the program. Next, you get access to a private Facebook group, and everyone in the course will be added to this group. And this is your opportunity to be around a group of like-minded event planners who are going through the program at the same time. So even if I'm not available right away to answer a question, your peers will be there because they are going through the same obstacle and they might be able to share their experience as well as provide guidance. You also get a sample client welcome kit. And the welcome kit includes about 15 templates for when you've signed a new client. So it includes a welcome letter, a brochure, a thank you note. It goes over the entire kit that you would give to your client. And this is provided for you. Next, you get access to the event plan and template bundle. And this template bundle is one I update every year. So if there's a template I discover I started using more and more each year, I add it to the bundle. You also have lifetime access to the course. So as I'm updating the course material each year, you will have access to the updated materials. I also provide, and this one is so important, email templates, the exact words to use for booking your clients. Next, I provide you with a list of industry software and tools, and I've outlined the tools. I've given you a summary of each, how I use them, and why you should as well. As well as there's links to several external resources that you might not even thought about using that I link to within the course. Now, this is one of the more exciting features, is that there is a 30-day money-back guarantee with EventU. There's 100%, 30 days money-back guarantee. And the reason I do this is because I've done everything in my power to make sure that EventU is the simplest foundation for planning that you can use, the best resource. I've poured all my knowledge into it. And if you put in the work, you will get the reward. So I give you 30 days to try out the program before you commit. So you try it out. If you're not happy, you can ask for a refund. Now, one of the things you really are probably asking yourself is EventU for you? And EventU is not for everyone, I will be honest. But if you love planning events and you enjoy planning events, you've always wanted to be an event planner, or everyone's always told you should be an event planner is for you. Then EventU is one of the great programs to start with. So are you thinking, are you stuck on how to get started? Are you unsure of what kind of schooling do you need? Should you enroll in a college course? Should you do an online course? Are online courses credible? And how will you make money? How will you find clients? If these are questions you have, EventU is the perfect course to start with. Now, if you start nodding along to any of these statements, I definitely want your program. Now, if you have no formal event plan education and you're trying to figure out where to start, this is exactly where I was many years ago. Event planning is definitely for you. If you know that you becoming an event planner is what you're passionate about, if you don't mind the extra hand-holding and step-by-step instructions that I provide in the course, and if you're ready to roll up your sleeves and do the work, then EventU is definitely the program for you. And the question that you might be asking yourself is, what is the total cost of the program? Well, the total value for everything included is over $1,300. But EventU will be open on January 30th, and the cost for early enrollment is $195. That's it, $195 for lifetime access to the program. Now, registration, as I said, opens on January 30th. However, the waitlist for the program is open today. So you can go on the website, go through the program, look at the course module, and if you're interested, join the waitlist. Because I do have a few extra special bonus for people on the waitlist that I will have a time limit on, and I will send that only to people who have joined the waitlist. Now, again, you can find all the information you need about it at www.eventcertificate.com/eventu. Now, I really want to take the time today to thank you for watching this training, and I really look forward to working with you again in the future.